Hello, beautiful human. I am Zach. That is Anna. Welcome back to the studio. Big Time Rush.
And that's how we start
There we
this
go.
interview.
I love that.
It's good to be here.
I love that.
Yeah. We have a new album to discuss.
Yeah.
We have so
Have
much
you
to
heard
discuss.
Yeah, I've listened to the whole thing.
You
Fuck
did,
yeah.
really?
Yeah. Why are you surprised by
I don't
that?
know, because I don't know.
What's your favorite song? Now,
Yeah.
go.
I mean, that's unfair. Like, don't make me pick. I have deep,
Nad, what's your favorite song?
I have deep interest, but I'm not gonna pick a favorite.
I think Ask You Tonight.
Okay,
Nice, good choice.
Classic little ballad boy band.
Yeah, it sounds like a
vibes.
classic boy band
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
But a lot of this sounds like classic boy band records. Am I wrong, or is
No,
that
you're not
insulting?
wrong.
No, we kind of took a little trip down, generational stuff that was important to us growing up and things that we really listened to, and it definitely had impact on this album.
It gives both like very nostalgic, but also really present. And no, it's really good. And I do feel like it's weird. It's weird to think of a time where boy bands don't actually fucking exist in the zeitgeist at all. Is that correct?
Totally.
Just like historically.
No, like now in culture, there's actually nobody in that lane
Well,
whatsoever.
we've kind of always done that, right? When we first started, there was no boy band around, really. We kind of brought it back.
Yeah.
And then we took a gap, and a bunch of the ones popped off, and then they all fizzled out, and we came back. And again, it's like the only ones who are touring are the older ones. I mean, Backstreet still goes out and New Kids, but
Yeah.
currently, and there's really nobody else, which is pretty rad.
Who is there like a group consensus that you have to come to when it comes to choreography and keeping that as a part of at least the performances? Because I was watching your Today Show performance, and you do your classic moves that still stick around today. But is there like, do you have a conversation that choreography should still be a centerpiece of the performance?
We have recently, yeah.
Yeah, well, especially as we're building this tour. I mean, look, we always have to find choreography that we all like and looks good on us. And that used to be more challenging, but now we kind of know what that is. But, I mean, we're talking about it right now as we're literally building the tour and doing the choreography where we want to have moments. We want to hit like this song, this song, this song. Let's find moments where we have full-blown choreography and let's nail those sections to look amazing. And the rest of it, we call it staging, where we still want to know where we're supposed to go so it's not just haphazard.
So on the Today Show, you saw a lot of staging.
A lot of
because
staging,
we didn't have
little
a whole lot of
choreo.
time. So, and the stage is kind of odd. You never know what to expect.
Yeah,
I think we did pretty well.
That performance, that performance was the first time that we had done most of those songs together. Waves was our new song. That was the first time that we had done it together.
We actually ran into a lot of like technical
Yeah.
difficulties,
Yeah.
but I think it went off.
Not only that, hold on a second, but we rehearsed. Day one of rehearsal was with me, James, and Carlos, and then day two of rehearsal because he couldn't make it because he had a bird strike on a plane. It's a whole other story.
Speaking of planes,
Yeah,
that
speaking
was
of commercial
interesting.
flying. And then the second day was me, James, and Logan. So we actually rehearsed that whole performance in groups of
So
three.
that's what Carlos was saying straight up. The first time we did it all together was
on the Today
live
Show.
because
Yeah.
we live in different parts of the world. I mean, it's not.
And
always
that's just
easy
how
to
we
get
like to do
together.
things.
We like to
Pretty
keep it
much.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the truth is, like, you have that chemistry that's existed for years now that allows you that flexibility that if you need to do it that way, you can.
Well, let's just say we certainly perform well under pressure, I think, and that is partly from the crazy training that we've kind of put
Yeah.
ourselves through, the weird college of being in a
just-
boy band.
It's always been that way.
The hundreds of shows we played together. So, needless to say, there were a lot of the looks of like, hey, over here, just like one of those things like you try not to make it obvious, but it's like, yo, we're moving over here, and then somebody reminds you like, oh yeah, right, front of stage.
Often, like, or if I'm like, coming up, like they're up here and I'm coming up, I'll like tap like lightly on the back just to be like, don't turn
Usually
around.
it's like lower back,
Don't-
upper ass.
yeah.
If he's being honest.
Don't turn around and throw an
It'll be
elbow or
me
something.
with my mic, and then I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Back to.
By the way, if you want to see this on tour, we're going to put a link in the description below. They're hitting the road with Jackson Max.
That's right.
But Another Life is the album. I want to dissect it a little bit because it is, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you're meshing together real lyrics but traditional boy band pop in a way you've never done before. But what are you taking with you from your past albums that we can actually hear in this fourth one?
Well, you got four just handsome voices.
It really is the thing that kind of is the through line for all of us.
It is.
The voices really kind of tell the story in their own way.
Well, and it allows us, because this is one thing that I've always loved about this band, and I think that's why people like boy bands in general, is you have diversity. You have people that sing different, that have different tastes, and one awesome thing about that is that it does allow us to do kind of different kinds of music, because we will have the through line of us singing through them all, right? So we can have something that is more classic boy band than something that's very, upbeat and crazy and dance that maybe a traditional artist may not be able to do. It's like, oh, that genre is too far. But for us, it all becomes the same thing once we get our voices on it.
I thought of this somewhat recently, that we are kind of allowed to, because of our history and the way that we've made music, anything that falls within the very, very wide category of boy band, which you're talking from doo-wop to like punk pop boy bands, like, you know, like 5 Seconds of Summer or whatever, like that big wide scope, we can do anything in between. And sometimes we try to push those limits even further, because on the TV show it was a band that was getting put. So we've done R&B. Our first album had R&B, hip hop, pop rock, whatever. And since establishing it on that album, we pretty much can do anything within that lane.
But I will say,
which
on
is
this
wide.
album in particular, I don't think that we were trying to get hung up on trying to feel like, hey, how was it back in the day, or how can we make this make sense? We wanted to test ourselves and do something different. We wanted to write in a different way. We had a very small group of writers and producers to help us explore the studio, and I think it was really big for us to kind of show that growth and that maturity.
Yeah, how'd you curate that room, and like who was in it at the end of the day?
I mean, only a few people. Even with the whole album, there was only a handful.
I think
of
there's probably a
writers and
dozen
producers.
people involved in,
Yeah.
in it, maybe. If that.
including us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
crazy. And I'm not gonna say any names, but I recently found out that there's some bands out there that I'm a huge fan of, and they actually don't write their own music,
A
and
lot of people don't.
they really play it off as they do. And I recently found out that this one band didn't write their album, and I kind of was like, "Are you kidding me?"
But see, it bothers me when they play it off like they
Like
did.
they
It's
do.
okay to not write your own songs because
Yeah.
there's incredible songwriters.
Well, I feel like that's country
what they
music. That's
do.
been country music for a long
But-
time,
but
right?
just-
They're like,
just
I didn't write it.
acknowledge, like acknowledge, like,
Yeah.
hey, maybe I was in the room or I wasn't at all. Acknowledge, like, yo, this is just an
Yeah.
amazing song we found. It's a lie and be like, oh yeah, I wrote
Well,
the
we
song.
love our
didn't.
producers and our writers, so we really try to make an effort to plug that whenever
Yeah.
we
You want to
can.
bring them up with you.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we after 10 years or so, we had something that we wanted to say. It wasn't. I think it's like we had to say something.
Yeah.
So
I
what,
think
what, are you,
that's
what are you
kinda
trying to say, bro?
What are you trying to
What are you
say?
trying to
But
say?
so, like,
think
what
you know.
goals and expectations do you set for yourself before starting this album?
To
just
finish it.
Well,
To
that's-
finish
yeah,
it.
I mean, you know, like obviously like having like number ones and song, like that's all like a dream. But I think for us it was let's get some good music out, and let's just
Let's
actually
do more
put
than a
something
single.
out.
If
Yeah.
we're
Let's do
happy
more
with
than a
it and
single.
we love it, then we hope that translates.
I mean, but jokes aside, I mean, to finish an album in a full cohesive body of work, not just to
with
write 10
with these
songs.
guys.
Well, with 4
It's
people
a
in
big
general, and then
accomplishment.
4 people that live in different parts of the world, and we're not together all the time.
Yeah.
So doing this remotely, it was a challenge.
Not to mention, even when we are, I mean, listen, sometimes it can be tough being in a band, Big Time Rush. I mean, it's a circus. So I think that was an accomplishment.
Yeah.
How do you break up roles? Like, who takes on what?
We try and delegate, and I think we've gotten slightly better at it when somebody is showing a lot of interest, when we have so many different verticals, right? So somebody's like, hey, really taking interest in the merch designs, by all means, like take a little bit more of that weight off
Yeah,
us.
whatever
and
you're
you go
passionate
for it.
about really is where we go.
Kendall and Logan spent a lot of time starting this album off because they were in LA together and they put in the effort to start writing a lot of the music. So that initiative is what launched us into having a body of work that then we were able to come in, oh, I've got this song, and then Carlos and I fly in and we cut and we write. But if we don't delegate and don't allow each member to take an initiative once in a while, it feels like nothing would ever get done.
Right. And some of the best writing we had was in our group trips too, where we got all together. We did one in Florida, in Miami, which one song came from, and then we did one in Big Bear, with Mafio, and then one in Big Bear, which surprisingly, like 3 songs that are on the album came from.
It
that
usually
trip.
is successful if we can all get
Schedule
together
it
and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what was it about that session that gave you 3 records?
Got lucky.
Well, I mean, that and we
Yeah,
had
very
multiple
lucky.
rooms. We had 3 different rooms going on at
these
once.
two-
Oh, yeah.
we brought up
that's-
3 different
that's really what
producers.
did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, but here's the thing: would we do that exact trip again?
No.
Heck no.
Why
It
not?
was
It was
so
stressful.
emotional. It was stressful. We were tired. We were meant to snowboard, and I think we snowboarded like for an hour in 4 days. Like,
But like we were talking about, sometimes the pressure is really where you get the diamond, I
Yeah.
guess.
What songs came out of that?
James.
a party all the time, ask you
Weekends.
tonight,
Yeah.
And weekends.
and weekends,
Yeah.
which
And
is
other
crazy because like those are like one of the top ones that the fans are loving, and they
the
all
ones
came
were
from-
finished too. So
Yeah, we finished Another Life on
we
that
had
trip.
to.
Well,
Right,
actually
we
kinda-
did finish a bunch
we
of stuff,
kind of
but wrote 3
redid
new ones.
all
that-
the harms on Another Life. Like we changed a few songs during that trip. I'd say we completed half of the album just on that Big Bear trip alone. But we wouldn't have had those songs were it not for months of previous work.
Yeah, do you go in with stuff that you want to say or lyrics ready to go, or do you just go on
Sometimes.
blank slate?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
might
I
have
think,
an idea. Sometimes you start with absolutely nothing.
You know,
and then you get-
most artists take the approach of like locking themselves in a studio for a week or two, and for us, we're like, how much more fun it is to go to Miami or to Big Bear and just say, hey, listen, all that money that was going to be in a studio, let's just bring little mini studios and let's have an awesome trip together.
We can probably only spend like four
Our
days
budget.
to a week together
Yeah.
before we need a break.
What was different about the Miami trip than the Big Bear trip?
much more. Well, a lot more tequila.
Yeah.
Well,
Where in Miami?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It costs a lot more.
it
too.
costs a lot more.
So we went to Miami. We went to Miami initially to work with Mafio, and it was focused on kind of doing a Spanglish record, and we got Dale Pa' Ya out of that, which was amazing. It was our first Spanglish real track we released.
a lot of unreleased
But
tracks.
then
as well.
I gotta say, the song "Forget You Now" came from that trip, and it wasn't meant to be on the album. In fact, we weren't even meant to write a purely English song, but we showed up late one day, which
Very late.
we're pretty good about not showing up late, but we were
This was
hungover.
like I'm talking like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
late.
So understandably,
Really
the
bad.
co-writers who were going to work with us were like not going to wait around.
Sorry.
But
Shut up.
silver lining, the four of us just decided, well, we're in the studio, Mafio, give us a beat and let's start playing around. And it started "Forget You Now," and so that song.
Well,
came from-
actually,
No, fun fact.
fun
it
fact,
was not that song.
it was not that song. Mafio gave us a beat, and we were not feeling it.
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
then I remember I grabbed that little acoustic electric guitar thing and was like, "Can I don't know." We were all taking a break. I was like, "Can I plug in for a second?" And then it was that bump. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Well, that really turned out to be one of our
Dun,
favorite songs that we've done.
And then Mafio comes in and goes, "Yo, that's tight. That's tight. Let me pull up." He puts a computer and he starts coming up with the beat on top of that.
He's a mad genius.
Is that the song that kind of sounds like it'd be in like Euphoria or something?
Yes. Oh.
Hey, put it out there, man. Let's get
with
that
the choir.
Is that the one you're thinking of?
I think so, because I
Do
think
you want to
it's
pitch
not-
it?
Yeah, put it in Euphoria.
Mafia called me this morning. This guy, I love this guy. He calls me and he goes, "Hey, are you guys submitting your album for the Grammys?" I was like,
We should.
I don't think so. And he's like, "You have to do it. Forget You Now is a smash." I was like, "Mafia, thank you so much, bro."
You're a little biased, Mafia, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
Hey, you know what? I think we should submit it just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, why
You know?
not?
Why not?
You don't think it's Grammy worthy?
I think it is.
I think so,
Sure.
but it's like,
Sure. You say sure.
no.
I mean, of course we do. We're extremely proud of
I
this
wouldn't.
thing, man.
I wouldn't
mean,
have we wouldn't have agreed to a song had we not thought it was a really, really good song. I mean,
It
maybe
took us a long time. I mean, there was probably 60 or so tracks that we've had, and we narrowed it down to 10. That
I mean,
we loved.
what makes something Grammy worthy?
I mean-
is it just because of the persona around the artist,
is it the
or is it
popularity
the actual
of it?
music? Because if it's about the actual music, I think we have some great stuff
Oh yeah,
in there.
it's definitely not about the popularity.
I
It
think
could
we've
be-
made a very competitive pop record ourselves.
Well, I kept thinking that when I was listening to the records.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, if this. I'm not saying like it can't be a hit with you guys, but if some of those records, I'm like, fuck, if they were sold to somebody else,
Sure.
like who knows where they'd go?
Right.
Like,
We
you have
find
no
ourselves
idea.
in this position a lot, actually.
Yeah,
Should we sell this
Should
song
we?
to somebody?
We have actually. There was a handful of songs that we're still kind of like, do we put it for another album, or do we just go ahead and sell it off?
But why can't Big Time Rush have that? Like, you do have the song, but like, why do you view like maybe somebody else should have this?
I think it has to fit. I think it really does have to fit. As much as there's a broad spectrum of what we can put out.
What are you saying? Have the hit, or
I really
well,
think
have the
that-
song?
I
Well, that's
really
what- well,
think
you guys
that-
are saying like maybe like what were you saying?
we've
Zach?
always
Maybe it would be better served
we've
with
always
somebody
been
else.
another
Yeah,
artist.
not necessarily better served. I just think that you look when you already have 10 number one smashes, it's easy to like pitch a song and it's easier for that to go, right? We've got to get that snowball effect going with radio and streaming.
Yes.
We took an 8-year break. So to come back, we are now just starting to churn that wheel that becomes momentum in the streaming world. We have a lot of work to do. And, we've also always kind of been underdogs.
I was gonna say,
Which isn't a bad thing. We kind of love it. It forced us to work harder, and then when people actually listen, they go, yo, we had no idea that you guys could actually sing. There's a lot of respect there.
Yeah.
But of course, we'd love to break through. The way that we
Let them
sell
expect
tickets,
the very least,
the
and
way
then
that we
when they hear
tour,
it.
yeah, we'd love to match that with radio and streaming, and that's why we put this album out. That's why we're going to keep going.
look, the band is actually like as independent as it possibly can be. We work with BMG, but it's on a marketing and distribution level, so the band is an underdog. We're doing everything ourselves. We have a very small team, and so we're actually swinging above
Totally.
our average. We're,
That guy in
we're
the corner
swinging-
does all of our Photoshop
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, and he looks like he
For
just
better or
got done
worse.
playing tennis in Mallorca.
because yeah, some of that's true.
But except he doesn't go to Mallorca. But Yeah, I mean, I think we're swinging. What's that? We're swinging above our
Punching above our
punching
weight.
above our weight,
Yeah.
and we always have. And still, Big Time Rush. You know, we're doing 2 years in a row, massive tours across the country.
You're like that small building behind you. Guess who's playing that this summer?
yeah,
You guys are?
yeah.
That's the Forum, baby.
So
August
and this is a band
See you
that
there.
is
Guess who
independent.
sold out that place behind you, man.
Whoa, James is
I'm
really
just
going
saying,
on, man.
Yo,
You wanna
was
just drop
there
that
when
mic?
I got engaged there.
you were there for that show, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Why'd you propose at Radio City?
That's where we met.
Oh.
You said that like it was such a. He's like, why would you do that?
No, I mean,
oh, and then
like,
he's got a really
You got a
endearing
problem with it?
story.
Like, wow, what a
yeah,
dumb place to
Nad.
propose.
Listen,
Way to be a
Mad.
dick.
Asshole.
I got an empty Radio City music hall to propose in.
Yeah, you
That's
sold
awesome.
that
See,
off.
that's a great story.
It wasn't
Yeah.
completely
Power.
empty. I mean, we were all there for you.
Who did we just talk to that was talking to us about Zach?
Oh, wow.
It was on the Today Show, I think.
Lee?
Right?
Oh, Al Roker.
Roker.
Al Roker says hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I got to be honest though, he didn't remember your name, but he
He
did.
said like he said like
went-
he said
was
like
"Wait,
Jeff
he-
or
he-
Joe or
he was-
something
he was-
like that.
No, but he was
close.
He was like, he's like a
Shit.
really big personality. He's like really killing the radio game, you know. And I was just like,
He goes, he's like he started like really small and now he's like doing something with
Then we threw out
Amazon or
Zach
whatever.
saying,
And we
"Yeah,
said,
that's
he goes,
the guy."
"That's him."
Yeah.
Hey, so
Al
Al
He says
Roker,
hi.
say hi back. Hey, say hi
yeah.
back to Al Roker.
Hi, Al. I miss you. You know, I hung out with him once. Clearly didn't make that big of an impact.
well, you left somewhat of an impact.
He's not good with names.
Hey.
No, yeah, he meets everybody. I totally get it, Al.
Yeah.
I love you. Like, I almost wanted to kiss him.
Yeah.
And
He's
a
kissable.
little
He looks
far now.
kissable. Yeah.
He is that shiny head.
it's something.
Like kiss him like you kissed your grandpa, or like what are you thinking?
Oh, like Grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so anyway. It came up that I sat next to him at your concert. It was like Al, his son Nick, and then me and my sister, and then they were on
Al's
my
been
right.
at one of our concerts.
Yes, and then to the left
cool.
was David Duchovny.
No way.
Right,
I remember that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
what
yeah.
concert was that?
That was Radio City.
was Radio City.
Remember, David brought his daughter and her friends backstage, and we like,
This
This is
signed
all
stuff.
full circle. This is where
For,
I
like,
met my fiance.
half an
Same
hour?
day.
Really?
Yeah,
Same day.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
As Al Roker came to our show.
Yeah. So Al Roker, Zach sang, David Duchovny, and my fiance.
Well, I felt embarrassed because like Al at
the
one point was
weirdest
like,
trifecta.
That's the weirdest.
That's so weird. But I was like, it's so nice to meet you. I was like, nah, man, I've met you. We watched Big Time Rush together.
Oh, that's right.
Man, that's crazy.
That's really fun. Yeah. Well, he misses you clearly.
yeah.
Bringing the most unsuspecting people together.
Yeah, how did I come up? Why did I come up?
He
don't
just
know.
brought it up himself.
It was outside, and we were
shit.
just like, yeah, Zach saying
He literally said, "Hey, remember that guy?"
You were on his mind. You were on his mind.
Yeah.
Just take it.
What was it, Mac, Jack?
Nah.
Yo,
Nah.
He really is. He really is a super nice guy. What a nice guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's incredible.
Yeah.
And he's an
Legend.
American treasure.
He's a legend.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's so good at his job.
Yeah.
When he just turns, like we watched him do the weather.
Yeah, and
just,
now in your neck of the
impromptu, like he
woods.
wasn't reading anything. It was outdoors, and he's like, "Yeah, and he did this whole thing." And he spit it. I'm just like, "Damn."
Also, he
you were
looked
good at this.
fantastic.
God,
He
he
had that
looks
top
amazing.
hat on.
Handsome
and
man.
then
He's a
suit.
handsome man.
That made me sweat. Oh, I'm sweating right now just thinking about him. Oh my god.
The fact that Al Roker brought you up on his own.
This is too much.
Do we need to
for
give you a moment? It's fine. We'll come back.
He's
Gonna
in
put
New
you in a
York. He's
moist
in New York,
towelette
and you're
for
going
Zach.
there. So
Yeah, I am. I'm heading there, but like I don't want to slide into his DMs because that may be too much.
Hey Al, it's me. Remember?
Yeah, remember, it's the guy with the big personality.
I've been expecting you.
That's ridiculous. Damn. So, question: When
No,
you're
it's Dan. It's
Dan.
It's Dan, bro.
With an N.
when you're crafting these records, though, how do you know that a song is finished? Truly,
At some point, you just have to finish it.
Again, timing.
Deadlines, yeah.
Yeah, I
do
feel
you
like
set the deadlines yourself because you're
yeah,
the
but
boss?
I feel like these
Self-set
guys,
deadlines,
it's
yeah.
never finished. Like, they hear stuff that I don't hear. So like I'm like somebody will send it. I'm like, yeah, this is great. It sounds like approved. And these guys are like, no, this one little part. And I'm like,
I mean, if you even think about like certain songs have evolved. I mean, even like "Forget You Now," we had one version of it, the original Mafio version, we had for 6
year.
months, a
Yeah.
year, and then when we went to finish it, we brought in Will Ventress to co-produce it with Mafio, and the song sounds like Mafio's version, but
it evolved. Yeah.
it a completely evolved version. And both of them, I mean, Mafio called him and said, I love the version that Will did. Like, he loved the song, and that's the guy who originally produced it. So sometimes you just gotta massage it until it's nice and
Think about Another
supple.
Life. That was a labor of love. I mean, we spent weeks and weeks on that.
That song is like
just to get it
2.5
right.
years old.
Unless
But
there
it's
was
what, I think you got mad at me once. You were like, "Dude, it's
well,
fine." It's
unless
fine.
there was a deadline, I don't think it would ever be done.
Yeah.
Because like these guys are always hearing things, and I mean things that you would be like, that sounds exactly the same. They're like, no, it's just a little. It's slid over a
No,
little.
listen
bit,
on
it's
these speakers. Trust me, you can hear it. You can hear it.
But there is like genius in that nuance, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but
Did
goals
you just
and
call? Did you just call us a
Yeah,
genius?
yeah.
did.
People do say that. We don't say that about ourselves, but other people.
Are you saying it's like genius-like behavior?
I heard Al.
We've heard it on the
Roker said
streets. People said it on the streets.
No, goals and expectations. I mean, in terms of goals, like, what did you want to achieve with this album? And I know it's not like chart position or single success. I feel like it's something different.
Well, I think we wanted to truly show our fans and the world that we're back and that we're taking this seriously and we plan on continuing to create instead of just, oh, here's a few singles. I mean, even think of your favorite artists. When they throw out a single, do you pay attention the same way that when they throw out an album? I doubt it. So we really wanted to show like, hey, we're putting forth the effort. We're going to create something new that represents us today that we also hope that our fans who have also grown up over the last 8 years, 10 years can relate to and feel like has represented their journey.
But what's the goal there? Like, is the goal to keep your fans that have always been with you fed? But is a part of that strategy to add new? Like,
Of course.
I think it's always to add new.
Yeah.
And I think that it wouldn't happen if we didn't go into the studio with a different mindset, a newer, fresher mindset. And I
Yeah.
think that really helped out. And so you don't know. You hope.
What
that
is
it's
the
going
goal,
to
Zach?
bring
What
in-
is the goal?
What does
you
it all
know?
mean?
What does it all mean?
What are we even doing here?
I mean, I'm also really tired of singing the theme song. So
Yeah.
it's really nice to have.
That was his
it's,
goal.
it's really nice to have like
We should write a
fresh-
new theme song. That's our new goal.
You talk about expectations. We have always kind of like we haven't had them, and then we have these really amazing moments that kind of surprise us. Like we didn't know how the first couple shows back were going to do when we back in 2021. They sold out like instantly, and we didn't know how the tour was going to do. We didn't have any expectations, but we were like, well, we're certainly biting off a lot.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully this goes well, and it went really, really well. I think with the music, I mean, it certainly doesn't make any money. You know, so we're doing it because we love it.
yeah.
Obviously,
But also,
you know?
yeah, complete psychopaths. It's
We're
what- If
insane.
we're not writing, what else would we
Yeah,
be doing?
we're insane.
It's like you have to.
But it
becomes
does
obsessive.
fuel the touring business, and there is like something there.
Yeah, I
Of
mean,
course, and long term, it's necessary.
Yeah.
And there is something that, like, at any moment in time, any one of these songs could catch traction and like become a hit
Sure.
because they have the potential to be one.
Right, and social media makes that possible now because any little part of a song can connect and
At any moment in time,
at
by
any moment.
anybody.
It could
Yeah.
be 10 years from now.
Yeah, totally.
Sure.
Your lips to God's ear.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's less than
I
that.
mean, look, we were again in a unique position because we can sell out the forum, but we don't have any radio. So for us, it's like if we get radio, all it's going to do is help us reach more people, and maybe we can do 2 or 3 nights at the forum.
Who knows, yeah.
Most people have radio and can barely do,
Totally.
like anything. So we're just blessed to be able to like go out and still perform, and the music is, I don't know. I feel like for us, it's like a little sprinkle on top. And if one does something, awesome. But now we have great
Yes.
music.
Not relying on it because I think people know us as putting on a hell of a show, and that's like kind of that's our thing.
I don't think
you
we've
know?
ever really needed to count on radio to make great records and have
No.
the people that are listening to it. Those are our fans. Those are
But
the
if they
people that we
want to
want
play
listen
it,
And by the way, I think
if they
radio-
want to play it, they absolutely should.
But and by the
You
way,
know.
I can make the case that radio is severely antiquated and just a part of a larger like
Well, I think with
strategy.
radio, we're also
yeah
using a
streaming
blanket term.
the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I understand that. I really do. But you know, again, any of the songs can catch fire at any moment in time
Totally.
and blow up on TikTok and make your base a lot younger while already capturing those who are your peers. if
It
that
just
makes
takes
any
one
sense.
viral video. So
I
if,
also-
if you're out there,
Yeah, hey, make one.
Take
I also
one.
think it's fun just to add to your. I think it's fun to add to the catalog.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's another thing.
We're
too, is
proud of the
people are-
history,
Yeah,
so-
they're discovering you at any moment in time, and now
Right.
they have all this music to dive into. You're really feeding people.
Well, after 10 years, I was also curious, like, what does Big Time Rush sound like? And I think that was kind of like wanting to get to the bottom of it and really figure that out. I think was the most fun for me.
How would you
round.
describe it?
That's tough. I mean, we've grown so much individually, so I think we've all brought a little taste of that.
How would you describe it?
I mean, I think it's the right amount of nostalgic, but also present, and I think it's a variety of sounds, but also really blends together what you think and know of a boy band. But it sounds different.
Wow.
Can you
Well
write that
said.
down?
Can you write
Well
that
said.
down?
We want to make sure
That's a-
quote Zach saying.
Yeah.
I listened to the album to start my day.
Can
this
we call
morning.
that a review?
Hey, we really
Sure.
appreciate that, though.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We've been here from the get-go.
Yeah,
Did you
I mean,
ever think
yeah.
that Big Time Rush would have written a song with Rick James?
No,
Did you ever think
that's
that?
fucking crazy.
Weird
does that
thing
even
is,
happen?
I've been in Rick James's old apartment before.
But how?
Well,
were
let's
you
not
doing
talk.
weird?
No.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
that's,
don't wanna-
that's where this couch originally was, and that's really not. It's not a story for this radio segment.
no, but how did you get connected? How does that even come to be?
Well, it's the
the song?
interpolation of
My girl wants
My
to
Girl
party all
Wants
the
to
But
time.
you get approval on that, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
We
They
had
had to
to.
listen to it and
Yeah.
think it was cool, and then work out a deal.
And took out.
We also
Took
adjusted
all
the
the
title.
publishing
There was
and-
a certain.
They could've
I mean,
taken
Rick
more.
James basically owns that whole
Changed the
song, but it's an
title.
honor.
Yeah.
But they,
Yeah.
hey,
it's an honor to work for him.
they liked
Yeah,
it.
they liked it, and
That's the correct terminology, not with, but for.
yeah. They liked it.
Yeah, that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's what you're.
I
paying
think it's
for.
really cool too. It's like a really cool version of that song.
Yeah.
Why
We've
did
heard
you
other
feel like you
interpolations
needed?
of it.
Did that song start with that interpolation?
Well, it did, yeah. But I was listening to a week prior to with my girlfriend, and then we started singing it in the downstairs studio because we had three. The
studios
downstairs,
going.
the downstairs,
The
studio.
downstairs cabin
And
studio.
Carlos
yeah.
was there, and we had Nick Furlong, and we had Will Ventrez, and we just started to kind of like build a little story behind it.
But it's one of those moments of like, you do it, and like
Is this
Logan.
bad?
Well, we didn't
Logan
know.
sang a rough, and we were like, "Is this stupid?"
Yeah,
Like,
we didn't know, and then we we're
should
kind of
we
like,
just
okay,
keep
now it's starting
going?
to sound a little better. Now,
But
it's
I
starting
think
to get
even
better.
for a while, for like a day or two, we were like, "Is this gonna go
Yeah.
anywhere?" And then it just kept evolving and evolving and
Yeah.
evolving.
And then you put saxophone on it, and then it's just like
Everything
Game
changes.
over.
When it gets saxy, you love it.
yeah.
Thank you for bringing back the saxophone.
Once you go
You love
saxy,
it.
you can't go backsy.
We tried to get Kenny G, but he's busy.
He was like, "Yo, I'd love to do it, guys." He was texting us back. He was like super excited about
Yeah.
the song. And
Yeah,
stuff,
but see, in
like,
that moment, you could have gotten the kid on TikTok that adds saxophone to songs that don't need it,
What the freak?
That would have
and
been
then
the move.
grabbed a digital
opportunity.
collaboration.
Yeah.
Hey, we have
what
the show.
about for live?
We have
you
the
know?
show at the Forum. Why don't we invite him
Yeah.
out?
You should.
Okay.
By the
Do
way,
you know him, Zach?
people don't shout out the musicians very often. So shout out Spencer Neasy for playing the sax.
Yeah, sorry to Spencer. To
Spencer,
totally,
sorry Spencer that he's not
really
the.
throw you under the
Yeah.
bus.
Work on your
he
TikTok,
sent
Spence.
He sent that to us at midnight.
Oh shit.
So we reached out and we're like, send us a sax solo, and then he sent it back. So Spencer Neasy, thank you
There
for
you
coming
go.
through.
You
Who's-
did great.
who's-
I'm not trying to replace
Who's
you.
the TikTok
Never, we
sax
can never
kid?
replace you.
I'll introduce you on the side. Don't
Yeah, there
worry.
you go.
Do you know him?
I mean, no, but I think we follow each other, so I don't
Okay.
really know him.
You know, it's like that weird collection of friends. Like, yeah, I'll introduce him to you.
Yeah.
yeah, sure,
But
He's another
you
one
may
of
have
my-
seen him. Like he literally plays saxophone
Yeah.
in his basement. And
He's
he
incredible.
adds saxophone to songs that don't need it, and he gets tens of millions of views.
Wild.
Zach,
I'm
make it
surprised
happen, dude.
more people don't add him to records. To be honest,
Well, here.
I mean,
Doesn't
sounds like
match-
he does the sax quite well.
Why don't we
He's
do a
fucking
remix?
incredible.
We have him out. He can do the remix.
Yeah,
Everybody
we'll
gets the
figure it
time.
out.
Doesn't
Sorry,
Max,
Spence.
Doesn't Max Schneider have a good sax guy?
He does.
He does, yeah.
Is that the sax guy you used? Is it a different
No.
sax guy?
no offense.
Different
like,
sax
again,
guy.
Like, none of these sax guys are fucking famous.
Maybe they
on
sax
TikTok,
together.
so-
I don't know.
I've never heard the word sax so many times.
The sax musicians deserve more.
Honestly, though,
They deserve more.
for all the saxophonists listening to this right now, they are so excited.
Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah,
like,
because-
I can't believe people are talking about us so much.
Honestly,
'cause it
saxophone is
isn't-
one of my favorite instruments.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's the
Look,
be-
you might be
the
at
best.
home, like you said, in your basement, having sax by yourself. But right now, we just want to let you know that you matter.
You might be really sad.
gonna
You
walk
might be a
out.
sad
They-
sax.
They do all feel underrepresented, the saxophone players.
Yeah, I think they do. I think.
Sax lives
You know
matter.
who's even
Yeah,
more,
you don't want to be sexist.
Wow.
Okay.
Don't be sexist,
you know who's
bro.
even
Don't be sexist.
you know who's even more underrepresented? Bassoon players.
I agree.
All right, this is going
You
off
should
in a
feature one
weird
of them on your
direction.
next song.
This is when the interview ends.
I am not gonna lie. I was looking up how much a bassoon was the other day
I'm not
Oh.
not surprised
to
by
see
that.
if I might need one.
I am equally unsurprised as I am bored.
This buffoon looking at a bassoon.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, can we at least get the price before we move on?
Yeah. Anywhere.
Now you've got me somewhat intrigued.
anywhere from 2,000 to 8,000.
Wow, who knew?
I'd rather buy the Apple goggles.
Yeah, right? You can buy them for like
$3,500.
Play a bassoon in virtual. Yeah.
By the way, you can listen to Another Life. We're gonna put the link in the description below.
Oh, yeah, our
all
album.
of the songs from the album on Amazon Music.
Only 10 songs, which I was surprised by. 10 years since an album. We
Only?
Well,
Bro,
well,
you-
hold on a
you-
second.
Well,
A
For each
song
year,
a
I
year,
was
dog?
You know,
Think about this though.
We
We
were
could
writing for 10 years. Calm down,
think
Nad.
about this. We could we could have put the songs that we put out from the beginning of the comeback on the album as well, which would have made it 14
That's a
or
cheap
whatever.
move.
But we already put them out. So technically,
It's like 4 or 5. Right?
technically in the last 2 years we've
on,
put
cut
out
us a break.
16 songs.
You happier at
It's
16 now?
It's
You
also
feel better
very,
about it?
it's very expensive to put
acoustic.
an album out, okay,
and
bro?
acoustic.
Came across wrong.
But also, I feel like if you fill too many songs on one album, a lot of them go undiscovered
Right,
or
exactly.
unrecognized. And if you have good records, you want them to have the ability to
I
breathe
feel
on
like
their
10,
own.
30 minutes is a good listen
Who's
where
the
you
guy-
can get through the,
The
whole
attention
thing.
span is hard these
Who's
days.
the guy who put like 200 songs on his album?
Oh,
I mean, Billy Corgan has like 35 on his.
recently someone put
No.
out
What's his name? He does like a
He was
song.
like an.
Mac DeMarco.
Mac
Yeah,
DeMarco.
yeah, that's right.
He
Yeah,
put
but
like
they're all.
A lot of them are jingles.
They're just.
yeah,
they're
lot-
just little ideas.
little-
They're not fully fleshed
I
out
kind of like that
songs.
though. I kind of like just a quick little.
But you know
listen.
what? He's going to be all over TikTok with those little funny sounds that he
Maybe.
makes.
That was his
All
plan.
over.
Or people are going to look at all the fucking tracks on the album and not listen to any of them because it's
Yeah, right.
overwhelming.
It's true. It's
Oh
overwhelming.
man, what was your favorite? Mine was 136. Huh?
That's
Did you get down to? I mean, 194 is decent.
Shots
but
fired
it's
at Mac
ba-
DeMarco.
I don't know you,
I've
brother.
listened to
Come
it.
on the
It's
show.
fantastic.
Explain
You know
yourself.
what the
Poor
joke
guy
in that
seems
one
like
was?
such
Is
a
I
nice
didn't listen
guy,
to any
yeah.
of them.
No, I'm going to listen to the album now, I guess.
I'm
but
not.
come on the show.
Yeah.
We'll listen if he comes on, right?
all 200. All 200, you promise?
He
No,
seems like a
that's
really
a lot.
that's funny
That's
guy.
what I'm saying.
Actually, I'll retract that. You narrow it down. You tell me your favorites, okay? Thank
Yeah,
you.
right. Give me your top 10. Oh wait, that's called an album.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you're supposed to do.
10 songs is a lot. Dan.
No, the more I think about it, I wouldn't want any more. So I take back everything I said.
Oh, good.
Thank you,
All
man.
right,
guys
all right.
nailed it. Appreciate you.
All right,
Give
Dan.
back his.
There you go,
name now,
Dan. Okay, let's bring it back.
I didn't know
You've
you
earned
had have your own day in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, in perpetuity.
Aren't
it's
you?
real.
You're not surprised?
No, I was like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It was so
should have been there, man. It was-
bloody
it was-
cold that day.
It was.
It was in April.
It was awful. It
was
was
awful.
like a
Yeah,
s-
specifically
it was like
April
a
4th.
sleet
right.
storm.
Yep.
So, I'm just.
I don't know if you know that.
So
There's
do
a
they
date
get?
to
How
it
do you
and
get
everything.
this? How does this happen? Does somebody call you? And
Well,
go,
this
hey?
was a declaration by the mayor
Yeah.
Okay.
We
of
didn't wanna
Duluth,
do it.
Minnesota.
They did.
So did they call you and say we're going to give this to you?
You know what? It was a lot of back and forth. It was like, hey,
Well,
hey, you know.
yeah, here's the thing. When so many cities call, like New York City is like, we'd love to, make it the July 3rd, and we were like, oh, that's too close to America's Independence Day. We just said we had to pick and choose.
Pick
we had
and
a lot of
choose.
offers.
And
a lot of
you know what? It
offers.
made the
April
most sense
4th.
because that's where we were from
On
in the
the
TV
TV
show.
show. Yeah,
So-
yeah,
That's what we think. We don't really
no,
know.
No,
that.
we checked with Scott
Scott
Bellow.
said
It
that
is,
it's
yeah.
in the
Okay.
show Bible, Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, Duluth.
And there's 4 of us.
Interesting.
April 4th.
April 4th.
That's
Four,
about as far as
four.
we got.
Oh.
Yeah.
4
Okay.
on our 4th album.
Yeah, and you add it all up, and you
God,
no, we
forever.
just picked the day.
It just so happened to work.
Do
out
you
that
like
way.
go there to celebrate at all?
We
or-
did.
We
I don't know if you
well,
call it
only once?
celebration. It
We
was
went
there
there-
for the first inaugural Big Time Rush Day.
And then you haven't gone back.
well, it hasn't been another one.
It was only April 4th.
And you
Yeah.
guys be going there.
Oh, they just gave it to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sick. Oh, I thought
What's
had
crazy
it for
about
a
April
while.
4th is it happens once a year.
Oh, that's cool though.
And we'll see what happens
for
when
a-
it comes around again.
For like a hot minute, I had this thing where I wanted to get a road named after me, and I didn't really know how to begin the process.
Zach
outside of-
Sangway.
Well, they had this one road in Kansas.
Well, Al wouldn't have known what to call it, but
It's called Sanger, and I'm like, just chop off the fucking ER, and you already got
In
it.
Kansas?
Yeah, it's in Kansas. somewhere.
Sanger, Kansas?
Yeah, so, well, it's a
Sanger
street
Boulevard?
in Kansas.
Oh, yeah, cut it
Sanger
off.
Way.
Yeah, it's Sanger Street or something.
Yeah.
But I was fixated for like a hot second on how to figure out how
Really?
to get that name changed.
I think
I moved
we know
on.
some
Logistically
people.
a little
We'll,
more.
we'll
Yeah.
see what we can do.
I'm from Kansas. I might be able to call and be like, hometown guy, like
Yeah, they all know each other.
hotline.
We
Right?
might be able to hook it up in Duluth.
Yeah, yeah, you have power. That's pretty cool.
Maybe not in April, but
Give me
we
another
we
one.
know some people
the
there.
Like a
worst-
backcountry
It's the
road or
worst
something.
month.
but-
The
We know
worst
the mayor.
month- the worst month for us to have that because it's always going to be cold.
It's stick
Yeah.
season. It's like mud or snow. Yeah.
But do you like pay for that? Do they
No.
make you pay?
no.
No, I mean we had to pay to fly there, but
Oh, that's
no.
not- I mean, if they're giving you a fucking day, you
give us
fly
a
there.
jet, a private jet to go down.
The taxpayers of Duluth,
Duluth,
came
Minnesota.
together to charter you a plane.
that'd be terrible.
Somebody would go to fucking prison.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Big Time
Pretty
Rush
rad.
on a jet?
Taxpayer
with-
money.
Yeah, taxpayer
It'd be a
dollars.
whole trial.
We've officially used half of Duluth's annual budget.
Honestly, that'd be the scandal you guys could need.
We're never allowed to
They
go
are,
back.
they are taking it away.
Please
the
don't
mayor,
take our day back.
The mayor
We'll be
is
there.
taking
We'll be
the
there
day
if
away.
you send a jet, right?
The mayor's taking
Thank
it
you
away.
so
a large
much.
private jet, not a small one.
Yeah,
Exactly. We don't mess with those.
If you have one of the stars on Hollywood Boulevard, you have to pay to maintain it. So I
Yeah,
didn't know if
No,
you
that
had to,
actually
like,
costs a lot of money.
It's
Apparently,
like
Get,
$100,000 a year plus. I think.
No.
No,
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yes.
that's an
No.
absurd made-up number.
Now
It might be
Google
100.
it.
I think it's
Look it up.
$100,000,
To do
and
it.
then like
No,
a
I
few
think it's
$1,000.
$250. I think it's
$250.
250,000
to get it.
Guess who's
Okay.
not getting a star on the wall?
Many of us, apparently.
These guys.
No, but how much is it? You've looked into it clearly.
It's money.
No,
it's
somebody
a lot.
told me
But
once.
the maintenance fee, though, I've never heard
It's
of that.
expensive.
30,000.
30,000 a year.
This says there's a $75,000
Wait, so
sponsorship
you got,
fee upon selection.
we have no consistency
Yeah,
in these numbers. Let's just be clear. We
250,
It's
don't
anywhere
have,
from
30.
30,000 to 250,000 a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
and to,
I don't know why
and to
I
maintain it, it's anywhere from free to $1 million a day. So somewhere in there, it's for sure legit correct.
It costs money, so I didn't know if they make you, maintain your status as one of
You're
the
asking the wrong guys.
one of the most
we don't
famous
have
people
one.
attached to Duluth. No, I didn't know if that you have you have to pay a yearly fee to keep your little scroll.
Yeah.
Your little,
Why even put that out there, bro? Like we got it. It's good. Don't make us be paying for this now.
We
Come
didn't
on.
have to pay for it until this.
Yeah,
don't
now
have
they're like, actually, we did take time
It's
out of our
funny.
day.
It's going to be anywhere from $30,000 to $250,000.
You guys want to know the most famous person from Duluth is?
Yeah.
Who?
Bob Dylan.
that's
wow.
a big deal. Does he have a day?
Not,
Not that I know of.
Suck it, Bob.
Yo, unbelievable, legendary Bob Dylan.
Just kidding, but I do feel kind of
He would probably think that's funny.
Of course,
I'd hope so.
I think he thinks
Wait,
it's
Big
funny.
Time Rush featuring Bob Dylan. We use an AI
Well,
version.
we lost that opportunity
AI version.
about 30 seconds ago.
I don't think he's doing collaborations. Another Life is the Big Time Rush album. You
Yeah.
should listen to it. Link in the description below. And if you have
Listen
to
to Bob
find-
Dylan.
if you find yourself in Minnesota, go to Duluth. Is there like a shrine to you guys there or no?
Dude, we have
There
no
should be.
idea.
I mean, honestly,
They
could
did.
be.
You know what? They did name a street after us for the
Sorry,
for the day.
For the day.
that's
For the day.
For the day it changed.
Well,
They
I'm
held
pretty
up
sure-
a street sign.
I'm pretty sure that street sign was just Amazon's by
we Amazoned
management. But
It's fucking
I think I
funny.
took one of those home. It'll go in a studio one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get you one.
If a human being only has the opportunity to listen to one song off this album, what song do they listen to?
Which human being? Can we get like a description?
A
of
new
said-
person.
you
They
know,
don't know
I
Big Time
just
Rush.
asked this on Twitter like 2 days ago.
Wait, one song off the album?
Yeah,
you get?
I took Weekends, Ask You Tonight, Brand New, and Forget You Now. And
And
it
did a poll.
was and Weekends and Forget You Now were at like 36%, and then the rest was
Tied.
Your favorite song off the album is not the one that you would necessarily say.
No,
you
I
had
no.
somebody Listen.
I said if you had to listen to one of these four for the rest
Yeah,
of your
he
life,
literally asked that question.
what would it be?
Well,
And Weekends and Forget You Now
Which
won
song would we give them?
over
I
like
don't know.
4,000 fans.
Yeah, I like Brand New better than both the two you just named.
Yeah.
Your name is Nad. So.
What do you like about Brand New, dude?
Everybody has
Brand
a
New's a
different
great
Ben-
song. I love Brand New.
Yeah, it just sounds good when I listen to it.
No,
I
think,
like it.
I think
Brand New's
everybody
great.
has like a different song that they gravitate towards, which is another
Mhm.
good thing about the album.
I mean, one song. If I,
What
Brand
mo-
New's one of my favorites.
What
Yeah.
mood do you want to be in for the rest of your life? You know?
Another
Well,
Life is a great.
Not
message.
even rest of your life.
No, he's
like,
saying just to say
yeah,
one song,
They've
if they
never
can hear
heard of you
one.
before, and you have the opportunity to capture them with one record. What are you giving to them?
Well, I mean, look, I think Waves
Ask You Tonight is what I
Waves
would
is
do.
such a catchy. It's why we threw it out as a single, you know, and it's
Waves?
such a catchy song right off the top. I feel like that'll get them.
You say Ask You Tonight?
Ask You Tonight because it's just really well written and it's a really pretty song. I think, and
tough.
everyone could get it.
It's tough.
You know.
What was one of your favorites? Curious.
I like Another Life. I also like Weekends, but also, yeah. I mean, I understand like why people like Forget You Now.
Yeah,
Because
It's
that's like our
wild.
Fall Out Boy.
It's a wild
it's our little
swing.
freaky moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know. I gravitated to more of the traditional stuff.
same.
Yeah.
Another Life, by the way. You can listen to the full album. It's out all on Amazon Music. Link in the description below. Also, if you want to check him out on tour, we'll put a link down there too.
Yeah, how's rehearsals coming?
We've had one day.
We're late.
So
We're late.
No,
We're
we're
late.
good. We're good.
We're good. No, we want to. See, I can honestly, it's our schedule, so we'll sit here with you as long as.
No,
we
it's great. We walked in yesterday and we have a mock setup of our new stage, and it is massive. It is so cool to get to play around on it. I mean, it's one of my favorite parts of what we do is getting to build a new show.
and we have songs that we haven't played for over a decade. So to have that in this upcoming tour,
Yeah, you're
is-
building a full-on set list. That's,
Oh, yeah.
man's a lot of fucking
Yeah, yeah.
time.
Yeah, and this brand completely different than last summer. There's almost no crossover in songs at all except for a few hits.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, like the ones that you have to play are in there. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, and we love playing them because the crowd loves it. But everything else is new.
and Max
What-
and Jax. I mean,
That's cool.
it's cool.
What is the hardest part about running your own business?
There's a lot of things to focus on.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
look, I think sometimes it's nice to just be able to be an artist in a sense that, like, a lot of artists don't have to really worry about the financial aspect, so they just get like do their thing and other people take care of that. We have to be cognizant of the bottom line, because this is a business. We got to make sure everybody else, we employ a lot of people on tour. Got to make sure they're taken care of, that everybody gets paid, that it makes sense to do this so we can keep doing it. So sometimes you got to put your adult hat on and be like, all right, as fun as this sounds to have a lift that flies over the audience, like maybe it's not worth half the budget. How do we create a show that actually makes sense and still looks amazing? So it's getting into the details.
I don't know. Have you had this conversation with other artists before, like about how involved they are in like the business of the business of it, and less just the creative and just looking cool and
Everybody's
being
a
creative?
little bit different.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think like we couldn't possibly be more involved. We are so unbelievably inundated with every decision that everything you're seeing is 100% the band.
Passionate, control freaks, the whole
Yes.
thing.
But it wasn't always like that, right? Like,
No.
Well, we
no,
were
no.
doing it. We just weren't in control of it.
Yeah.
We were doing all of those things. We were leading the charge on what the things look like, what the music might sound like, leading the charge on putting together a show and all that, and leading the creative. We just didn't get the credit.
Or at least
for
we
it.
didn't have final say back then.
Right.
I mean, now, look, we couldn't do this by literally ourselves. We have a fantastic, a lean but amazing team. So with the team, it's like, hey, this is our concept, our idea. Do your best to execute it, bring it back to us for decision making. Here, change this, come back. So we do that with 10 different teams to get everything going and keep everything going.
Right.
And it's a constant conversation to keep it all going. And now these next 2 weeks are bringing all those pieces together for the tour, which is pretty rad because we've had people working on the set, the staging, the lighting, the set list, the transitions for months now.
Yeah.
Now we're pulling it all together. So
The most difficult part is, we've been friends and just now more recently business partners, because before we were in a band together that was the business was somebody else's business,
Yeah.
but we were doing it together. Now we're doing it together as friends, as longtime companions, as people who battle each other, people who fight with each other, people who argue with each other, people who love each other. So it's the most difficult part is our internal dynamic for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, like, I have my own businesses, and if I want to do something, I do it. And if I want to, do something a certain way, I do it that way. In this business, there's 4 of us, and if one person doesn't like it, or if 2 against 2, it's like you have to work through that. And I think
a
that's
challenge.
That's the
definitely
biggest
tough.
challenge.
Yeah.
Kendall wanted to ride a unicorn on a stage this set. And we're
I
like,
wanted
"That's
to
an
wear
absurd-
sunglasses for
that's
this
an
whole
absurd
interview."
cost, Kendall. You can't do it. You can't
I
do
wanted
it.
to wear pit vipers for this whole interview, and Logan said it was a stupid idea.
Not a huge payoff,
Yeah. Well, it's like Logan put them on, and I'm like, man, they look good on you. And then Kendall wore them like, that just looks stupid.
It happens.
What are pit vipers?
I'll undress right here, right
Cut
now.
off,
You wearing a vest?
cut off vest.
It's a sweater.
And,
Fashion.
and
It's a
he
sweater
put the
vest.
pit vipers on, and I said, well, I'm going to wear the pit vipers for the whole interview. And he said it just wasn't
And he
funny.
goes, I don't want anybody to make mention of it. And I go, okay, well, that's not.
Nobody say anything about it. Let me just wear the pit
He
vipers.
still managed to bring it up somehow. In this
So
interview,
I'm
which
happy I
wasn't
did.
Exactly
We
what
can leave it up to the
discussed,
audience
but-
to say whether or not that would have been funny.
What are pit vipers?
Like the
Exactly.
the
Sunglasses or like
the sunglasses that look like you're about to drive
This interview
NASCAR.
was going well.
Yeah,
It was going decent.
I would have died
Yeah.
if you just wore them the
the
whole
whole
time.
time.
He'll wear them in tour. He'll wear them to tour.
Do you have a pair?
They're in the car.
He got them from the gas station.
Yeah.
This is real.
I thought it was funny.
This is
Anyway.
real.
Oh my!
when it comes to being on stage, like, do you guys dress yourselves or do you have stylists? Or do you all want to look the same, or is it just like whatever?
Well, we
goes,
obviously
goes?
bring in stylists to keep things cohesive, and
Yeah.
like then what they usually do is bring in like, hey, here's our idea. They bring in a bunch of stuff, and we go in and say, hey, I like this, I don't like this. I mean, it's a collaboration, but for sure, I mean, Sonia Young is doing this whole tour, and she's crushing it. She brings in some really cool pieces. She's doing some custom pieces for us. So I think actually, I mean, for sure, the wardrobe on this tour is going to be elevated from last tour.
Like, what was a luxury you used to have that you had to get rid of now that you run your own business?
We had someone that would go in every day into our dressing rooms and
put up
put
curtains,
up curtains,
like this, but like
pillows,
decorative.
Yeah.
candles.
I
like
mean, we could
room
hire that
dressers.
person again.
It's one of the
Like,
things that like we just wouldn't spend the money on it now.
We
We
could
didn't
do
need
it. We just
then.
don't do it anymore.
It was just one of those things that like we did have, and it
I
was
forgot
an
we had
indulgence.
that.
Yeah.
Pinky.
Lauren, she was
Pinky.
great.
Pinky. She
All
was-
trying to
white
think of-
couches, white drapes.
No, it wasn't white.
White M&Ms.
No,
Very specific.
We actually, don't get me wrong, I think we have our luxuries, and I think most people who maybe work a different job would probably say, geez, these guys are like, spoiled. But we save money on a lot of different things, and we make sure that we take care of our health. We have no problem getting the food that we want to get. There's no debate about food, right? If we want something and it's healthy, we're going to get it. Like the dressing room stuff, like the rider, it's like it's got to be organic and it's got to be so we go bougie on that kind of stuff. It shouldn't be bougie, but it is. But other than that, we don't really have a lot of luxuries. I mean, not like over the top, like
No,
artist
I get it.
luxuries you hear about.
I mean, by the way, like at Nickelodeon, you had every luxury under the fucking sun.
on the bus.
no, I mean,
We
I'm
sit
just
in the
saying,
back and
I'm
cuddle
saying the
each other.
stories you hear about so and so needs this thing delivered every
course.
day, and it costs. We heard stories about some bands needing the same white T-shirt.
Oh yeah, by
so
the way,
they-
that's very common. Like
yeah,
same
so
like
they
T-shirts,
order a whole
same.
case of T-shirts.
But hold
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
hold
yeah.
on.
Well, that's very common.
But
Yeah,
like
I hear that all the time.
We've been doing this now for like 3 years, like on our 4th year, I guess.
Yeah.
And the first year or two, like it wasn't, glamorous. I mean, we flew coach. We didn't do it like we literally were like
we were starting
this is-
a business.
This is
Yeah.
a business.
Yeah.
We have, a little money in the bank, but we need to grow this. And we knew that, if we came to LA, we were all staying at each other's houses and, getting
We don't like
rides
to
and
waste,
saving
and
money.
we're pretty conscious of our environment as well.
But
so I think
but now that it has grown, obviously, like, okay, you know what? Now we have rules. Like, if the flight is more than 4 hours, then we can fly business.
Yeah.
But again, it's not like crazy, but we're definitely making it more comfortable for us.
just 4 normal guys from Duluth, Minnesota.
Are you guys on the same bus, or are you not even taking buses, or do we have our own buses?
They
buses.
we have buses.
yeah they so like they share a bus, and then my family has a bus because I have 3 kids and
Yeah.
a nanny and a wife. So
Yeah, they ride with people.
yeah, I roll deep.
Hey, that's pretty wild though.
I mean, theoretically, we could all have our own bus, but that's just one
Absurd expense.
that's just
Like-
one
Yeah, it's
major
so
major
expensive.
expense. That's like no.
Well, I get lonely, Who am I going to cuddle with whenever you guys aren't
Right.
there,
True. And again, we have no heat on the bus, so we have to cuddle.
Cuddle.
What does the title "Another Life" really mean?
What does the title means? It's a whole new chapter for us. I mean, it's up to interpretation, obviously.
We left it open.
But it's another life for us. It's a whole we've evolved, we've changed, we've grown a lot. It's another life in terms of the music. It's a whole different thing. And also, since we last were together, the world has gone through a bunch of changes. It feels like everything is different than it was when we were.
There's been a whole transformation on almost every level.
Older
and I
teens.
think that's kind of why we picked it.
Yeah. Evolution.
Listen to the evolution. See the evolution. The album. Link in the description below. It's on Amazon Music. Plus, link to see him on tour. Go and check him out.
Yeah. I mean, if people don't listen to our music after this interview, with how exciting this one and how
Also,
stupid.
if you've listened to this whole interview, you could have listened to the album like 2 times through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying. Priorities, guys.
This is. I mean, we look like fun guys. You know.
But you're fun. Yeah, good time.
Yeah.
fun guys.
Fun guys.
Go hang out with them.
sing thing
Should have worn the Pit Vipers.
No, but the
Yeah,
album is
should've
really
won the-
fucking good, and I think you're gonna be surprised if you were a Big Time Rush fan or you're not. It's worth trying out.
Or you're not.
I mean, it's but
Some
you-
people aren't.
Yeah,
True.
I know it's crazy to think.
Till they listen to Another Life.
It's kind of crazy to think that some people are not Big Time Rush fans, but there are.
And
they're
if
out
you're not,
there.
get a life.
Yeah.
Another Life.
yeah. At any second,
By
that
Big
could
Time Rush.
change.
My Big Time Rush.
Listen to the album. Try it out. Final
That'd be a
thoughts.
funny TikTok.
You
Get a
guys got
life.
any? Oh,
Another
go
one.
ahead. Sorry.
I was just doing a TikTok bit on my own by myself
I know, I
without
was
anybody
like, did I
filming.
step
Don't worry
over
about
It's
it.
okay. We'll work on it later.
You do you. What's up, Dan?
Are you guys adding any like deep cuts to the tour, or?
You bet your ass.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're gonna say.
Yeah.
Well,
What are you
Dan's gonna
thinking
show
of?
Kendall
up.
already ruined one. He said you guys were adding Shot in the Dark or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Did you?
He
Okay.
did.
Well,
say
we
that.
were all together when I ruined it.
No,
so-
okay.
Yeah, you
Give him a
still-
taste. Give him a taste. And
I just didn't know if there are any others.
Yeah. Well, that's how about we'll leave it there.
Dan, will you show up to their show?
I've never seen them live. I want to go to the Forum show.
You guys
go
should
with
roll.
you.
You will have.
Sorry, dude, we haven't any more tickets.
You will have front row in the comp ticket area tickets.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have to cut this. I have to grab Kleenex real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, go. We were gonna wrap. We were gonna wrap up
Turn
anyway.
up.
It's like in the podcast where it's like a pee break.
Yeah, listen to Another Life though. We're gonna put a link in the description below. Also, you can see him on tour.
We'll be right back.
Kendall,
Yeah.
Logan, James, Carlos, I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks
back
for being
here.
here.
Yeah, great to get back
See you
again.
guys. All right, that's a way to wrap up an interview.
Here-